Let's talk about some very good news that I'm very excited for, which is the announcement that happened in the OCG for the Limit Over Collection. Which, on the surface, honestly, the Limit Over Collection seems like a fine product, but once you look deeper into it, there's a very, very interesting announcement in here that I'm really excited for. Because on the surface, it's just there's going to be two collections: the Limit Over Collection, the Heroes, which will go on sale in the OCG February 28th, and the Limit Over Collection, the Rivals, which will go on sale a month later on March 28th. Featuring cards in the style and image of the heroes and rivals of the franchise. So on the surface, this just, to me, seems like a little bit of a nostalgia, nostalgia pack where you get like cards that like Yugi played and Kaiba played, and maybe some of the other heroes and rivals of the show, because it doesn't mention specifically like the first season. I think there's also going to be like Jaden, Yusei, and all that kind of stuff. Like, we're basically getting the protagonist and antagonist cards from a bunch of different Yu-Gi-Oh series, which, fine. However, the big news here is these packs introduce overframe cards, whose card design features illustrations exploding off the artwork frame, a brand new dazzling feature for the official card game, and among overframe prismatic secret rare cards, there will be a super limited number of cards with a serial number on them. So, after over 25 years of Yu-Gi-Oh, we are getting, I don't know if full art is the right way to call them, because unfortunately, as of now, as far as I'm aware, there are no pictures of these. So I have no idea what these will look like. The only I guess estimated guess that we have is the Overrush rares from Rush Duel, which Rush Duel has these for a while now. Let me just pull one up. I just googled Overrush rare. This is what they look like for Rush Duel, for example, right? So we don't know if this is exactly how it's gonna look, but who knows? Who knows if this is what it's gonna look like? However, this is happening soon. And that's awesome. I've been arguing that like this is something I wanted for this game for a long time, because first of all, they look sick, but other than that, it also just like creates something that could actually be a chase card in the future. That like I think this is a very important element in other card games, because it gives you the ability to print cards at a lower rarity and a higher rarity at the same time, where the lower rarity is the card that makes the game more budget friendly, because people that are just caring about playing the game can go ahead and get the cheaper version of the card, whereas there's still value in the product because the collectors and people that are very passionate or have the money for it can go for these kind of cards, right? And in other games, the full arts and alternative arts and stuff like that are a big part of their market. And I think it is a reason why some of the other games are a little bit cheaper to play on a competitive level, because there is a larger collector's market for cards like this. And this being introduced in the OCG is a very big deal, in my opinion. I think it's awesome. The serial numbers, to be honest with you, I personally have I'm kind of indifferent about the serial numbers. Some people are really going to like chasing them. If it helps the products be better, then I'm happy with it. I personally don't particularly care about the serial numbers, but I also don't think it's bad. Like, I think if there is a super high chase card in the set because there's a number printed on it, and people go and collectors go crazy for that, and as a result of that, the product is more hype to open and more valuable to open and so on and so forth, I think it's potentially a good move, and what's good for the game is good in my books, even though I personally, I'm not going to go out there and chase serial numbers. However, I am potentially interested in getting some of the full arts or extended arts or overframe cards, however you want to call it. That's something I'm very interested in, but the serial number is still fine. And the good news is that TCG, Konami, basically Europe and NA, have also stepped in and said, have you seen the news that cards with artwork extending beyond the art frame are coming? These will also be available for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Details coming soon. So, even though we don't know exactly when or in which product we are going to get these cards, they have stepped in and confirmed that this is also going to be a thing for the TCG. This is not just OCG news. This is also going to happen in the TCG, which is awesome. Which is very, very cool. I guess what remains to be seen is how frequently is this going to happen? Is this going to also be a thing potentially in the future in core sets? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, this is really, I think that's what matters the most here. I don't think, like, if we get this one special set with the heroes and the rivals and stuff like that, that's gonna be cool, but that's not gonna impact the market and the overall products and like the core sets and stuff like that, which is really where I want this sort of thing to be, right? So, however, if this is going to be super well received, then I think they're gonna do it more. Like we like what we've seen with the alt arts, right? Like we've seen the alt arts, like we've seen them do more and more, like working with alternative artworks in more and more products, and it's been good. You know, it's been, I think from my perspective, alternative artworks as a whole, as a concept, have been received well by the community. You know, like not everyone likes every single alternative artwork, but in general, I think the community understands that alternative artworks are a good thing, and that's, I think that's going to be the same here. And eventually, what I'm really hoping for is that stuff like alternative artworks and full arts are going to make their way into the core sets as well. I think that's what we need to basically finish this development, to make it is we need to move from this is just a thing in the side sets to this is going to improve the core sets in the future, right? Because if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently, I think a lot of the side sets are actually doing better than the core sets, at least from my perspective. Like rarity collections and whatnot, I think those are performing well because they are doing some of these things in those. You know, we get good reprints, we get alternative artworks, and so on and so forth in those sets, and that's why they're doing well. And then like some of the core sets are more like hit or miss because they're too dependent on like the chase cards being high rarity. But if all the chase cards are high rarities in the core sets, that's also not great for the game because it makes the game more expensive to play, right? So some of these things really need to move into the core sets. So that's basically my takeaway from this. Is I'm really, really happy it's happening. I'm really happy they already announced it for the TCG, but I do want to wait and see, and I'm really hopeful, and like I want this to happen I want this to happen more regularly, basically, right? Like I want this to be a thing in core sets, which I guess is not something we know is going to happen. But I think with how core sets are performing at the moment, I think it's realistic that they eventually make these moves for core sets as well. But that's something, and we're gonna check back in. I hope we can see the first cards like this soon, because I'm really, really hyped to see how these look. Because I mean, you know, this could be very hit or miss. Like I'm scared. What if they reveal these and they don't look awesome? What if they reveal these and they look kind of bad? And I'm kind of anxious for that. But surely after announcing this after 25 years of Yu-Gi-Oh, they know that they have to look good. Surely they understand that these need to look awesome. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. But I think it's good news. I think it's good news.